Welcome back to my channel, Rare Coin World. Today we dive into the history and hidden story behind the 1971 Washington Quarter, a coin minted during a turning point in American history. What makes the 1971 quarter interesting is not just its age but the era in which it was produced. The United States was experiencing political shifts, economic pressure, and cultural transformation. And coins of this period reflect the uncertainty and change of those times. The Washington Quarter itself was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter and quickly became one of the most recognized coins in America. By the time 1971 arrived, the Washington Quarter had already become a symbol of national identity, stability, and patriotism. However, the years leading up to 1971 brought massive changes to the U.S. Mint and to American coinage as a whole. Just a few years earlier, in 1965, the government removed all silver from the quarter due to rising silver prices and the economic strain of the time. This meant that by 1971, quarters were fully copper-nickel clad, making the metallic composition completely different from earlier silver issues. Collectors began paying much closer attention to errors because without silver, rarity depended on mistakes, misstrikes, and exceptional condition. The early 1970s were also a time when coin production increased, significantly due to population growth and expanding commerce. The mint had to work faster, and with faster production came a higher chance of unusual varieties. This is why some 1971 quarters carry valuable errors like off-center strikes, missing letters, doubled dies, filled mint marks, or unusually sharp details when certified in high-grade conditions. These tiny imperfections created accidental rarity that collectors still search for decades later. But the historical depth of the 1971 quarter goes beyond the metal and the minting. The United States was shifting into a new era. The space race was at its peak. Technology was accelerating, and American culture was transforming rapidly. Money circulated faster than ever, and coins like the 1971 quarter became part of the everyday life of millions. These quarters traveled through gas stations, diners, movie theaters, bus stations, and every corner of American society. Each piece carries silent stories of the people and culture of that era. George Washington's portrait on the obverse remained strong and dignified, a reminder of the first president's leadership in times of change. On the reverse, the majestic eagle symbolized power, resilience, and unity. These symbols became even more meaningful during a decade when the nation was dealing with major political and social challenges. The 1971 quarter became a steady reminder of American strength, and that symbolism is one reason collectors appreciate it today. As years passed, many 1971 quarters, if you have the 1985 Liberty Washington Quarter in your hands, it might turn the tables for you because this coin comes from a fascinating period of American minting, and its hidden value is something most people overlook. Stick around until the end because I will tell you how this coin can be worth more than you think according to online platforms and auctions, and how you can sell it. But at the end of the video, you will simply comment price in the comment box, and I will personally tell you its exact value and full selling procedure. 1985 Washington Quarter belongs to a time when American coinage was undergoing a modern transformation. By 1985, the Washington Quarter had already been in circulation for more than 50 years, becoming one of the most familiar coins in the United States. Introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the design had become a symbol of American patriotism. During the mid-1980s, the U.S. Mint was producing coins at a high rate to keep up with economic demand. This was a period marked by growing technology, population expansion, and increased commerce across the country. With all the technological advancement came new minting equipment, updated coin-striking techniques, and a shift toward more consistent production. But even with improvements, minting errors still happened. These errors are what gives certain 1985 quarters their real value today. The Washington quarter design featured George Washington on the obverse, representing strength, leadership, and continuity. On the reverse was the iconic eagle, wings spread, symbolizing freedom and national pride. Even though this design was already more than half a century old by 1985, it was still beloved and considered one of the most successful American coin designs ever created. 1985 played a major role in shaping the coin's identity. Since 1965, quarters were no longer minted with silver due to rising metal costs, meaning that by 1985 the composition was fully copper-nickel. This change meant collectors began paying much more attention to high-grade examples, special varieties, and unusual minting mistakes, because rarity would no longer come from silver content but from condition and errors. 1985 was also a turning point for the American economy. Inflation in the 1970s had affected coin circulation heavily, and by the mid-1980s the economy was stabilizing, leading to more active usage of coins in everyday life. The 1985 quarter traveled through gas stations, malls, diners, amusement parks, and countless businesses. Each coin absorbed the story of American culture during that decade. Because so many were produced and circulated widely, most 1985 quarters today show heavy wear. This is why collectors look for sharp, clean examples graded by professional services. A 1985 quarter with a strong strike, untouched surfaces, and full details can bring higher prices online. Rare errors such as double dies. 1997 Liberty Washington quarter. This small coin might turn the tables for you because many collectors do not realize how valuable certain varieties and high-grade pieces from this year can be. Stick around until the end of the video because I will explain how some of these quarters are sold on online platforms and auctions, how people are making surprising profits, and how you can do the same. And at the end of the video, you will simply comment price in the comment box and I will personally tell you its exact value and full selling procedure. 997. Washington quarter belongs to the final years of the classic eagle reverse design. Before the United States Mint began the massive state quarter program in 1999. This makes 1997 one of the last coins in the original Washington quarter series that had been used since 1932, a design that became a symbol of American tradition, leadership, and national pride. George Washington's portrait on the obverse remained unchanged for decades, reminding everyone of the founding era and the enduring strength of the country. As the United States Mint continued striking these quarters during the 1990s, the economy was rapidly expanding. The American public was experiencing a rise in technology, new businesses, and increased travel. The quarter became one of the most heavily used coins in vending machines, toll booths, parking meters, arcades, and public transportation systems. Because of this wide use, 1997 quarters circulated extensively, making high-grade, untouched examples rare and valuable today. 1997 sits in a very interesting historical period. It was a time when digital communication, computers, and global trade were expanding rapidly. The 1997 quarter passed through hands, representing a society moving toward a new era. Yet its design remained traditional, connecting modern America with its historical roots. Collectors today appreciate this contrast, and many seek coins from the final years before the quarter's redesign began. The quarter's reverse design, featuring the American eagle with wings spread confidently, had become an iconic symbol by 1997. This design was originally created to celebrate Washington's leadership and the country's freedom, and it remained an important part of American coinage for decades. Even though millions were minted in 1997, the value today depends heavily on quality and minting varieties. Sharp details, strong luster, and minimal marks can increase the worth significantly, especially in graded conditions from professional services. As the mint approached the end of the Eagle Reverse series, production quality varied at times, leading to small minting errors that collectors now search for. Double dies, missing clad layers, off-center strikes, broad-struck planchets, and filled letter varieties can turn an ordinary circulating quarter into a valuable collectible. Many of these errors from 1997 have appeared on online auction platforms. 1998 Liberty Washington Quarter. Dollar sitting in your collection or lying unnoticed in your drawer. This video might turn the tables for you because some pieces from this year have shocked collectors with unbelievable prices. Stick around until the end of the video to know how valuable your coin might be and how you can sell it. But remember, at the end, I will ask you to comment the price in the comment box, and I will personally guide you on the exact value and the full selling procedure for your specific coin. Now let's begin this deep dive into the long history of the 1998 Washington Quarter. Dollar, the history of the 1998 Washington Quarter, is the final chapter of an era that began all the way back in 1932. This coin represents one of the last traditional designs before the United States Mint shifted into the dramatic changes that arrived in 1999 with the State Quarters program. Because 1998 was the final year of the classic Washington Quarter design being produced in full quantity before the big transformation. Collectors consider this year a symbolic end to a legacy that lasted more than 6 decades. To understand the story of the 1998 quarter, we must go back to its origins. The Washington Quarter was first created in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Sculptor John Flanagan's design was chosen for its dignified portrait and balanced layout, and for many years it remained untouched, becoming one of the most familiar coins in America's pockets. By 1998, this same design had already circulated for over 60 years, making the coins of this year part of a long historical tradition. The composition of the 1998 quarter continues the copper-nickel clad formula that began in 1965. This transition to clad metal was a significant moment in American coinage, marking the end of circulating silver coins. For collectors, the clad-era quarters often seem common, but certain years, including 1998, produced special errors and variations that dramatically increase value. Because the minting equipment was aging and the U.S. Mint was preparing for the massive production of state quarters starting the next year, some unexpected mistakes slipped through. The Philadelphia and Denver Mint facilities produced millions of 1998 quarters, but only a tiny fraction of these coins show errors like off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and extremely strong strikes. These rare variations give the 1990 quarter its potential to be worth far more than face value, especially in high-grade mint state condition. Some quarters from this year, preserved in perfect or near-perfect condition, have been sold for astonishing amounts in auctions. Another important detail lies in the testing methods used by the Mint during this transitional period. Because 1998 was the last uniform year before the introduction of 50 different quarter design. 1966 Liberty Washington quarter dollar in your pocket, in an old drawer or mixed with your saved change. This coin might turn the tables for you in a way you never expected. Some rare varieties and high-grade examples from 1966 have surprised collectors with shocking values, so stick around until the end of the video to find out how much your coin could actually be worth and how you can sell it the right way. At the end of the video, make sure to comment the price or details of your coin in the comment box, and I will personally tell you its value and guide you through the complete selling procedure. The history of the 1966 Liberty Washington Quarter is deeply connected to one of the most important economic decisions in the United States coinage system. A year earlier, in 1965, America took a historic step by removing silver from the quarter and shifting to a new copper-nickel-clad composition. This transition marked the end of an era that stretched back to the earliest days of the nation's coinage traditions. The 1966 quarter stands right in the heart of this transformational period, making it an important piece of numismatic history. During the early 1960s, the United States faced a nationwide shortage of silver. Rising industrial demand, increasing consumer use, and global pressure on silver reserves created an imbalance that threatened the mint's ability to produce enough coins for circulation. As people began hoarding silver coins, the government was forced to act quickly. The Coinage Act of 1965 was introduced to stabilize the situation by removing silver from the dime and quarter entirely. This act also temporarily removed mint marks from all coins between 1965 and 1967 to discourage further hoarding, which is why no 1966 quarter carries a mint mark. This absence of mint marks gives the 1966 quarter a unique place in history, symbolizing a moment when the government tried to reshape public behavior while preserving the stability of the nation's currency. The mint also increased production dramatically during this time, creating hundreds of millions of quarters to restore public confidence. Despite this large mintage, many coins struck in 1966 show noticeable variations in strike quality, surface texture, and metal layering because the mint was speeding through production at record numbers. Collectors appreciate the 1966 quarter for its transitional characteristics. Early clad coins like this one often show a slightly different luster compared to later issues. Some examples appear duller, while others show stronger details in Washington's portrait and the eagle on the reverse. These differences happen due to rapid die wear, varying metal pressure, and new machinery adjustments, all of which make the 1966 quarter interesting to collectors today. Another important aspect of this coin's history is its connection. The 1992 Washington quarter belongs to a fascinating period in American coinage, standing at the crossroads between classic minting traditions and the rapid modernization of the United States Mint. By this year, the Washington quarter had already completed 60 years of circulation since its introduction in 1932, originally created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design by sculptor John Flanagan had become one of the most iconic faces of American currency. Whether in pockets, purses, vending machines, or collections, this familiar portrait had witnessed decades of American life. 92 quarter begins with the events that shaped coinage in the late 20th century. By the early 1990s, the mint was expanding its production speed and experimenting with new die polishing methods, minting pressures, and improved metal layering techniques. These adjustments were meant to prepare for the massive rise in coin usage across the country as digital systems, card machines, and vending operations grew. With the increased demand, the Philadelphia and Denver mints operated at full capacity in 1992, creating millions of quarters, but also generating unexpected variations and striking anomalies that make some examples valuable today. Another important chapter of this era lies in the changing metal composition. Since 1965, Washington quarters were struck in copper-nickel clad rather than silver, marking a major shift in American coinage history. By 1992, the mint had become fully accustomed to clad production, but minor inconsistencies in planche quality and die wear created small differences in appearance, which dedicated collectors look for. Some 1992 quarters show unusually sharp details, while others reveal signs of doubled lettering, weak strikes, or slight misalignment. Any of these rare variations can increase a coin's value dramatically. The distinguishing feature of 1992 is its connection to both tradition and transition. Only a few years later, the mint would completely revolutionize the quarter with the 50-state quarter program beginning in 1999. This meant that coins minted in the early 1990s, including the 1992 issue, were among the last to carry the original Washington reverse featuring the majestic eagle. Because this reverse design dated all the way back to the Great Depression era, collectors value it as a historical link to a bygone chapter of American coinage. The production environment in 1992 also created a number of remarkable error coins, off-center strikes, double die obverses, clipped planchets, die cracks, and ultra-sharp mint-state strikes are among the most sought-after examples. These are the coins that end up selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition and rarity. Some 1992 quarters discovered in pristine mint-state condition with untouched surfaces have crossed auction blocks with unexpectedly high results because true high-grade